With the rise of I feel like nowadays it is easier than ever to do absolutely zero work and get 100% of the reward. And I don't blame the people that do that. Don't get me wrong, I use AI for plenty of things. As a college student, as someone who's working two jobs, I find myself using AI daily to make my life way more efficiently. However, there needs to be a pursuit of education, and there needs to be a pursuit of knowledge. And because of AI and because of the easiness and accessibility to get answers on homework or tests, it really eliminates the whole point of school, and it really eliminates the whole point of living. Let me tell you why. Life is all about knowledge. It's all about understanding things. And because we understand those things, we have joy. And because it takes such an amount of effort to understand those things, a lot less people do it. I mean, for instance, it takes 3 years to go to law school. 3 years on top of a bachelor's degree. And in order to get in law school, you need at least, for some schools, the good ones, at least a 3.8 GPA and a 160 on your LSAT. In order to get a 160 on your LSAT, you need around 200 hours of studying, and to get a 3.8 at an accredited university, that takes unbelievable amounts of time. But nowadays, how hard is it? I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier now than it ever has been. But why are there less and less people who are in the pursuit of knowledge? The reason why is because they're taking the easy way out. There's always an easy and a hard way to do things in life. I mean, we all know that person who has done absolutely nothing with their life, and because of that, they're stuck at their mom or dad's basement playing video games till the day they die. And hey, maybe the person listening to this right now is that person, so this video is for you. But there's always an easy and a hard way to do things. Let me tell you why the hard way to do things is better than the easy way. As a kid, I wanted to be disciplined. I looked up to my dad. He was ex-military. He was a lawyer. He was an amazing dad. He was active in the church that we went to. He cared about all the families around us. He was stern and he was strict, but he was smart. And I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be the best son I could possibly be. As the youngest of 5, I felt like I had a lot of legacy to live up to. And so at the age of 15, I signed up to do landscaping with my friends. And I was super excited because all of my friends, we were going to work through the whole entire summer, and we were going to make money, and it was going to be great. However, the minute we got hired, all of my friends got sent to the north yard, and I got sent to the south yard. So I was all by myself in the more sketchy area where I lived in the 100-degree weather. And at that point, I really wanted to take the easy way out. I wanted to call the boss, who I knew personally, and say, hey, not a fan of this predicament that you've put me in. Can you put me back in the north yard with all my other friends? But I didn't. Instead, I'd wake up earlier to drive farther away and work with people that were a little bit more sketchy in a place that I didn't really feel comfortable in as a 15-year-old white boy. And I do not regret a single thing. That was the best decision I ever made. And then halfway through the summer, after working day in and day out, being harassed every single day by these really strange old dudes who probably verbally sexually abused me in some way, I got a call from the big boss, and he said that one of my friends had quit and that he needed me in the north yard. So I go to the north yard, and surprisingly, one thing I found that was completely similar between all the friends I signed up with is that they lacked grit. All of them didn't have the eagerness to work. All of them would take multiple days off a week, and because of that, they had lost respect. Not me. I felt like I wanted to work even harder because I saw how little they worked. And since then, I feel like that drive has been in me. And that drive is so easy to get. Even when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to sports, when it comes to family, when it comes to relationships, that grit and that power to just go and do the hard thing and put in the extra hours is so easy to obtain. And I'll tell you exactly how to obtain it. Step 1, you just have to forget about yourself and go to work. Genuinely. I got married last year, and before I got married, I found it kind of difficult to wake up every single morning and go to work. I was doing door to door sales at the time, and I absolutely hated it because people were absolutely mean. But I knew that the best way to make money to get married was to go out and to do sales. And so I did it. And reluctantly, actually, I did pretty well. But the minute I got married, I found that it was extremely difficult to wake up every single morning and to go out and to do it. But my wife reminded me every single day, hey, just go out and forget about yourself and just do the work. And the minute I forgot about myself, and when I was knocking on those angry people's doors every day and getting rejected, the only thing that I would think about was my wife and my family. I think today we live in an age where it's so easy to be so self-centered. Everyone just cares about themselves. They just care about how they look. They care about who they're mogging, about how many followers they have on any social media. And because of that, it's so hard to just forget about yourself and just to go out and to do some hard work. I genuinely think that if we did that, it would be so much easier to succeed. I'm only 23 years old, and I feel like because of how young I am, there's such a smaller bar for me to, such a smaller bar of expectations for me to hit. And in some ways, that is a superpower because of all the other people who took the easy way out and they did the least amount of work ever. The bar has been significantly lowered. But man, I wish that bar was higher. And that's why I'm making this video. So go out there and forget about yourself and go to work. The next thing I would say is to just never give up. I'm not trying to sound like Deku from My Hero Academia, but genuinely, just forget it. Just forget it, and just never give up. It's so simple. I served a 2-year religious mission in Nashville. And for missionaries, if you're unfamiliar, for the church I go to, you have to go to this training program, this training center. And while you're there, you get put in a district of other missionaries who are also training. And mind you, I'm only 18 years old at this time. And I had prepared my whole life to go and be a missionary. I wanted to go help people and do things like that. And the minute I got to the missionary training center, I realized that the people in my district did not feel the same way that I felt. They did not care about putting in the work, and half of them were already ready to give up by the time we had just barely started. Mind you, we do this for 2 years, and by the time we get to the MTC, it's been 0 days. And so I remember offending a lot of the people that I served with in this training center because I was the kind of kid that was just like, why are we talking about anything else besides our purpose right now? Why are we talking about anything else that isn't pertinent to what our goals is? And I remember one specific moment with one specific guy. He called me a coward because he thought that I was doing too much and I was trying to make them all look bad. And that on top of many other things they said, maybe I'll go into a deeper dive into what that was in a later video, but that hurt me a lot. I thought I was here to do one thing, and that was to serve other people, and all of a sudden in the training center where they teach us how to serve, I was being berated for wanting to do my purpose. And I sat in this closet in our dorm, and while everyone was out and away having a good time, I sat and I cried. I bawled my eyes out, and I called my dad. And he answered, and I think he was a little scared that I was going to be like, Dad, I just want to come home. This is so stupid. And mind you, missionaries, we don't see our families for 2 years straight, except through calls or FaceTime. And he probably thought I was going to say things like that. But I ranted to him about how stupid these kids were that I was with, and he reminded me to never give up, and he looked at me and said, keep doing what you're doing. I have faith that you're going to do a great job. And for some reason, a little fire inside of me where I looked back at him and I said, Dad, no matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult it is out here, I am not coming home before I finish my job. And that promise I made to him lasted those 2 years, and I ended up coming home, and I had this very, very awesome time being a missionary. But I could have taken the easy way out. I could have said, Dad, I want to come home. And honestly, who really would have cared? Maybe people would have cared for a short amount of time, but honestly, in a long amount of time, no one really would have cared. And so my point is, it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to just remember all about yourself and focus all about yourselves. But it's so hard to not think about yourself, to not give up, and to just do the hard thing. And so do the hard thing. My invitation genuinely is to just wake up tomorrow morning and just find one specific thing that you can do that is maybe out of your schedule, and make sure it's a hard thing that makes you uncomfortable, and just do it. If that means not using AI for a test that you shouldn't be cheating on and trying to just do it yourself, even if you know you'll fail, do that, man. That is awesome. That is an amazing pursuit of hard work and grit. Or if that's waking up early and doing push-ups, do it, man. Just go ahead and go after it. I promise it'll work out. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm not great at what I do. I'm not a perfect man. I've got tons and tons and tons and tons of problems. But at the end of the day, one of the problems that I do not have is my ability to work hard. And I think it started because I chose to do something hard. So go do something hard, all right? Have a great day.